All right, guys, I'm back. Now, open your friggin' ears and listen to me when I tell you this. Clean all the wax out right now. Stop what you're doing. The Democratic Party and the DSA, Democrat Socialists of America, or whatever the crap it is, it's not the same organization. Get that through your thick skull. They ain't the same thing. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. I've got 5 key differences that will slap you upside your head if you have not come to realize by now, today, late in 2026, that the DSA and Democrats ain't the same thing. And then you wonder why people like me will not ever vote for another Democrat for the rest of our lives. You wonder that. Well, you're not going to be wondering anymore when I explain to you these key distinctions and when I tell you that these idiots with the DSA, they're frickin' communists, okay? They try to say we're socialist Democrats, democratic socialists. That's a euphemism for communism. We're going to lay that all out, all right? So, they're closely aligned with the communist line of thinking, the communist theory, while Democrats operate within a capitalist mixed market framework. And for all the people who say, well, America's already socialist. No, it's not. There's a difference between being a socialist country and having social programs. So, moron, get rid of that whole excuse. It doesn't work. That argument is invalid. All right? So let's go through the distinctions here. Holy mackerel. Hopefully somebody will learn. Share this with someone you know that is thick-skulled and stupid and still votes for Democrats. All right, first one. Key difference here. Ownership of industry. Ownership of the means of production, okay, shall I say, all right? So the DSA, the Democrat Socialist Communists of America, explicitly states its goal is a collective ownership of key economic drivers. Like what? Energy, transportation. All right, we're talking the things that are core of the economy, all right? So that's a core tenet of the socialist/communist ideology, is that the government runs those things, not the people, no private ownership. So the Democrats support what we would say is a mixed economy, where you got private ownership and then you also have regulated markets. Well, with Democrats, it's heavily regulated markets. Look at California environmental laws as an example, and I can speak on the dumbness of California environmental laws under authority because I'm an environmental civil engineer with 30 years of experience in dealing with the EPA. All right. Ask for that video and I'll give it to you, and also why climate change is the stupidest thing in the whole wide world, where you take a sliver of truth and then scare the hell out of people so that you can give the government an excuse to take over things that they shouldn't. All right, moving right along. I digress. I'm getting off topic. Number 2, economic restructuring versus reform. So the Democrat Socialist of America, all right, DSA advocates radical restructuring of the U.S. economy. Radical, okay? They're aiming to weaken or replace entire capitalist systems. All right, we're not talking on a small scale here. Now, the regular Dumbocrats, they focus on incremental reform, like the ACA, you talk about minimum wage increases, crap like that, within capitalism, not replacing it. Think moron, dummy, okay, versus, say, a regular Democratic-run city. You got New York City, you got Seattle. Those are communist cities, not regular Democratic-run cities. All right, let's move on. Number 3, political strategy. This is key. Revolution versus institution. Big difference, kids. Here's the thing. The DSA, the Dumbocratic Idiotic Socialists of America, DSA emphasizes grassroots organizing. You see that a lot. You hear them say that a lot. Direct action, right? Building an independent political force historically aligned with revolutionary socialist movements like the Bolshevik Revolution. Look it up. Now, Democrats, they rely on traditional electoral politics, even though they cheat, even though they want to sign up illegals, but they're at least trying to do it within an electoral process, right? They rely on compromise and institutional governance. Big difference, guys. Big difference. Number 4. We got 2 more, and then you tell me why Democrats claim they have a big tent and need to have this in their tent. They're idiots. That's one reason. Number 4. The DSA favors non-interventionism. Okay? Skepticism of the U.S. being a global power. They don't like that. And anti-capitalist international alignment. Positions that are historically associated with the socialist/communist movements. All right? Where the Democrats support international alliances like NATO. You know, they love their NATO. Okay? And cooperative global engagement. Think, the globalist type of people, right? Okay, last but not least, number 5, the end goal. Big difference. For one, it's anti-capitalism, and for the other, it's capitalism with safeguards. All right, so the DSA openly states, that capitalism should be weakened and ultimately replaced. They say that by democratic socialism, aka communism. You know, you got these nuts out there saying that they want to get rid of the office of the presidency. We don't need a president. And they also want to disband the Senate and then replace the Supreme Court. And so then they want to run things as a collective. Yeah, right. Like, we're really going to do that. You hear Democrats always talking about Trump's destroying the Constitution. And then here you got these people within their own tent that are talking about getting rid of the office of the presidency and the entire Senate. But no, it's Donald Trump who's destroying the Constitution. Oh, man. There's just no... I don't understand it. These people must be on drugs, stupid, or you're just susceptible to being talked into anything. It's cult-like proportions. All right, so I said it. The Democrats are lying to you about the DSA, claiming that's just a flavor of Democrats. They want democracy, and we have a big tent. We got room for everyone. They're lying, but they're selling their souls to the devil because they want the votes. They, meaning DSA, are going to throw Chuck the Huck Schumer out on his ear. They're also going to kick Hakeem Timu Obama Jeffries off of his little roost as minority leader. He'll never see majority leader if the Democrats take over the Congress. It's not going to happen because the DSA is going to throw them out. They're going to take them over. It's a Trojan horse. The DSA is basically saying the Democratic Party is already organized and it's the avenue that they can take to get into power. Like the Borg, they're going to infiltrate and then take it over. Bend everybody over from within the party, turn it into a little men's prison situation, a maximum security prison, and do things their way. It's a Trojan horse. All right, so you heard the things. The DSA stated goals align with classical socialist and communist ideology. Collective ownership, anti-capitalism, radical restructuring of the government. Yeah, the Democratic Party's platform does not include those goals. It never has. So why do they let these people in their tent? Explain that. Post it in the comments below if you're a Democrat and not a communist. I don't want to hear from the communists. tell me, true blue blood Democrats, why do you think that you should let these communists into your tent if you've never accepted those principles? So yeah, and here you got the DSA members, running as Democrats, creating ideological infiltration within the party, all right, so that then they can take the mask and the hood off and say, all right, we are communists. And if you don't know your history about communism, you better look it up and start to study right now, because it never ends well. You're being lied to because these people lust power. They have a lust for power. So the Democrats, the Dumbocrats, they publicly downplay the differences every day. That's all you see. Even though the DSA documents, go to their website, it openly states that they got these communist principles. So what do you do? What do you do? Tell me what you think of this. What do you think about communism coming on strong in the United States? I tell you what, I can at least say that the old blue blood Democrats were good people, and even the ones now with their whack job beliefs, they're at least not communist. I'll give them that, but you are being compromised. That's the only compliment I can give you, but Democrats are generally crooks. In fact, in the next video, if you want me to lay this one out, the thesis statement of this other talk I want to give is that Democrats have no interest in stopping rampant fraud in the United States because they're connected to the fraud and they're all criminals. They're crooks. It's an organized crime party. Organized crime party. And I'll give you 5 instances that supports that point. But let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, hype, all that stuff. I ain't really worried about all that crap anymore. I took a nice long break. Vacation was great. I haven't had a video since the live stream on Daytona Beach, which was a lot of fun. But I'm going au natural. All right. I'm not trying to win the YouTube lottery anymore. I'm here for the people that have been here all along, and we'll get the discussion started. And for anybody else, if they're still lingering Democrats, oh God, do your little cry fest in the comments, and then we'll pat you on the back and tell you everything's going to be okay, because I know you're going to have a conniption fit after you watch this video. But that's all. Let me know what you think. I'll hit you back soon. This is Carlton. I'm out.